you doing, guys? Since the days of Nimrod, it's been the desire of the very few at the top of the pyramid to rule the entire world. And even though those few at the top far outnumber Nimrod, they're still outnumbered by those people on the bottom. The mass population still outnumbers them. And since the days of Nimrod, they've learned many methods of control, be they through governments, religions, chemical. As a matter of fact, it was Joseph Stalin who first experimented with fluoride. He was fluoridating the Soviet troops at one time to find out what effect it would have on them. To their amazement, they were surprised how dumbed down the Soviet troops had gotten and were more susceptible to suggestion. It didn't stop there, because this practice was picked up in Nazi Germany. How many of you remember the 60s and 70s, the old toothpaste commercials, where they advertised fluoride in the toothpaste and in the water as a good thing? And here it is this many decades later, and we know better, they're still doing it. And God knows what they're spraying in the skies now, and have been for over a decade. After World War II, television had struck the scene. This was the establishment's new method of mass control. Now, it didn't start all at once, but in time, every household had a television. Some had two. And it worked. The establishment didn't care if you knew what they were up to, because they're like, well, what are you going to do, stop watching television? And it worked. We're still not sure of the type of hypnotic techniques they were using through broadcasting, but we do know with the fluoridation of the water and the media that they were able to control the masses. Although it was working, it had limited effects. If you look today, guys, we all have our personal hypnotic devices. The patents for these are far superior to anything television had. I talked about Watchtower in my last video and their methods of controlling Jehovah's Witnesses. The sorry thing is they're picking up the pace, and most Jehovah's Witnesses still are not seeing it. They learned from the televangelists of the 1980s. As a matter of fact, do you remember the days when they would condemn them? And here they are doing the very same thing. So what is Watchtower's plans for Jehovah's Witnesses? Sorry thing is, like I said, they're still not seeing it. More and more kingdom halls are being sold. They're telling you they got to have incredible growth, so they're consolidating halls. So why is it that they are selling so many? Because in time, there aren't going to be any kingdom halls. Jehovah's Witnesses, wake up. You just recently found out within recent months that Watchtower is spending many, many, many millions of dollars in a production facility. And yet you're still under the teaching that the end is just around the corner. Yet Watchtower obviously doesn't see it that way. This project is going to take about 4 years, so it's obvious Watchtower is preparing for the next decades ahead, while you still believe that the end is right around the corner. So why is Watchtower doing this? Jehovah's Witnesses, you are now a liability to Watchtower, specifically with this new law in New York. Watchtower does not want to be held accountable for many of Jehovah's Witnesses' indiscretions, the crimes within the kingdom halls. They want distance from you. They still want that leash on you, but they want to get a little bit of distance from you. And the way to do it is by dumping the kingdom halls. What they're going to do is tell you, Satan's system is now after you. We have to protect you. We have to get you out of the kingdom halls because it's no longer safe. They may use the kingdom hall burnings, for an example. They may use this recent shooting in North Carolina as an example, or the church shootings elsewhere. But this is what they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you we will continue having the meetings and the assemblies, and you'll be in the safety of your own home. Now, God knows, Mike and Kim had done a video some years ago about the hypnotic techniques Watchtower was using through JW Broadcasting. Matter of fact, they just this week reminded me of it, and I got to go back and watch it again. Now, it's obvious JW Broadcasting was using these tactics, and they will pick up the pace with their new production facility. I'm sure they have many more techniques to keep you dumbed down, to keep you hypnotized. Like I said, guys, you are a liability. The problem with hypnosis is, to be hypnotized, you either one thing, you have to be voluntary, because if you don't want to be hypnotized, they cannot hypnotize you. The other method is if you are unaware that they are doing it. Now, to pick up the pace the way they're picking it up, is it's going to be a double-edged sword. Many JWs will fall into this hypnotic trance and believe everything Watchtower tells them. The other side is it will smack them awake, like it has already many. They're like, this isn't the Jehovah's Witnesses I remember. And many more will leave. Well, Watchtower doesn't care about that. They want to seize the control. They want distance from those that wake up. This is why they label us apostates, because they do not want you talking to us. Jehovah's Witnesses, open your eyes and look at what's going on with Watchtower today. Has this ever happened before? Now they're begging for money. There was a time they said that they would never hit you up for money, although they've been slyly taking donations all this time, but they are now being more upfront about it. They're taking your Kingdom Halls and selling them. Kingdom Halls that you paid for. They will sell them. The money goes in their pocket. This is now going into their production facility. So in the long run, they will be making more money. The reason being, they've learned from pay-per-view. They've learned from sporting events. They've learned from shows. It used to be a day where a sporting organization would go from town to town to town to town. They learned through pay-per-view that they could have one show being seen nationwide, if not worldwide, and bring in all that much more money from that one show. And at the same time, they get a safe distance from Jehovah's Witnesses. See, now, whatever you do criminal-wise, they are no longer accountable, because all you are is watching them on your device or your laptop. Something to think about, JWs. Is this the organization you grew up in, or is this the organization that you joined? Step back and take a close look, guys. Like I did, like many did. It's not the organization that it seemed to be. Anyways, guys, feel free to leave your comment below. You have a good day, and I'll be talking to you soon.